Good evening and welcome to CB8 Speaks. My name is David Rosenstein. I'm a member of Community Board 8 and your host for this evening's show. Community Board 8 is a city agency. It covers the Upper East Side, that's from 59th to 96th Street, as well as Roosevelt Island. Tonight we're going to visit with some of our new Community Board members. We're all public officials who serve without pay for 2-year terms appointed by the Borough President. Our first guest tonight is Sara Solomon. As a result of legislation passed 2 years ago in Albany, up to 2 teenagers between 16 and 17 can serve on each of the community boards. There's 12 boards in Manhattan, 50 I think in the city. Sarah's a junior at the Dalton School. She's one of 2 teens serving on Community Board 8. She's a junior class representative to the school's Board of Trustees, heads Dalton's Alumni Club, and last summer was an intern for Senator Charles Schumer. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Based on that summary, which leaves out so much just to save time, you're pretty comfortable working with folks older than yourself. What's been your experience on the community board? Do you feel listened to?
I mean, so far it's been a really positive experience. Everyone has been very respectful of my opinions, and I've felt very comfortable sharing them, especially on the smaller committee level. I feel like I've had a lot more input there, and people have been really nice about helping me with the learning curve in terms of procedure of the meetings, and also just really trying to help inform my decision making and votes. So everyone's been really welcoming of me so far, and I've felt completely comfortable.
That's great. Are there issues where you think a young adult's perspective can really make a difference, is important that the board hear?
Definitely. I think, in my opinion, a diverse group of people always is important in terms of making decisions and just making sure that you have every perspective, I guess, represented. Especially, I think we'll probably talk about this later, but I serve on the Youth Education and Libraries Committee, so in that committee, definitely the viewpoints of a young person are very important given education. A lot of times in the meetings, I'm able to kind of provide the students' perspective and understand really more about what the needs of the students are in those situations. So I think also something that's really important in terms of what the community boards have done by allowing teenagers to serve is that they're bridging the gap a little bit more between students and also the government, which just in terms of the future, I think is a very valuable thing because it gets people involved at a young age, which will hopefully continue.
We've got about 220,000 residents, at least according to one of the surveys that I looked up on online this week. 18% approximately are under 18.
Right.
So you represent a significant chunk of the population of Board 8. Talk a little more about the committees. Much of the work that gets done is done at the committee level. And you mentioned one that you're on. What else? My
other committee that I'm a member of is the Technology Committee. There have been a lot of new ideas floating around in terms of technology and where we're kind of headed with the community board. So recently we've been working on increasing viewership on our existing Twitter and Facebook pages. Also thinking about launching an Instagram because that might draw more attraction. We're redoing the website, which is an important step. I think also just something that a young person can add is the understanding of how important social media is. And since it's definitely a part of my daily life, I think I really understand how you can communicate things such as promoting a city event or local news or some policy that we're trying to campaign for, and using social media as a platform for that is really important. So we've been trying to expand that presence, and also just the fact that not that many people know about what a community board is.
That's for sure.
More awareness about what that is and how it can be a resource for the people in the community.
And also there's a lot of people on our board, and I'm one of them.
Right.
I sort of vaguely know that Instagram has something to do with pictures.
Right.
But that's all I know about it.
Yeah.
I don't Twitter.
And it's
because
important.
I'm afraid to do the wrong thing and end up with reaching people I hadn't intended to reach.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of the board members don't use these tools.
Right.
Don't know how.
And so we're working on trying to figure out how we can get board members more involved also.
How did you learn about the opportunity to serve on the community board?
Actually, my uncle was a member of Community Board 2
Really?
For a while, and he really enjoyed his experience. And I can't remember how long ago exactly, but I would say 3 or 4 years ago, he talked to me about his experience on the community board, and I was interested in public service and government, and there was no real place for me to be a part of a larger community where I could express and explore those interests. So it was in the back of my mind that 16-year-olds could join the board. And when I turned 16, I decided to apply for a position, or to become a member of the board. So I filled out the application, and I went to an interview with council member Dan Garodnick at his office. We talked about a lot of the issues that were going on, and being debated in city council, which was a really unique experience. And then I went to a group interview at the Manhattan Borough President's office.
Half of the board members are nominated by a city council person. The other half are direct appointments from the borough president.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're all appointed by the borough president, but
Right.
half with the recommendation of
Yeah.
a council member. In textbooks in high school,
Yeah.
major events are covered in a handful of pages. World War II might be a whole chapter. And unfortunately, it's usually at the end of the year, so nobody even pays any attention to recently current events. But here you are at a government agency that exemplifies how slow change takes place. People come to us with minor issues like a health club
Yeah.
that's going to be opening. And we
Right.
get a ream of paper and lawyers and architects. Was it disappointing to find out the government moves like a glacier, or did you expect this?
I think the kind of learning about the workings of the government through the community board has been very interesting for me. It's definitely not a quick process in terms of getting things done, but I think something that's been especially surprising to me, but also something that I'm very happy about, is the amount of the voice of the people in the community and the impact that they can have by just discussing issues that are presented to them. So I think part of the idea that the process is so long, yes, it is so long, but at the same time, I think in a democratic society where we're really focusing on different people's opinions, I think it's a really important part of the process to be able to foster an environment where all of the different community members are able to come together and debate and discuss what and how these different proposed things will affect them. So I think it's been an encouraging experience to understand the process of democracy at such a local level, and being able to hear all of the different people come in and discuss how important various things are to them and why or why not they're opposed or in favor of them, just engaging people. So it is a slow process, but I think it's important that it is that way.
Let's talk a minute about you and where you're going. I know you tragically lost your dad, highly respected journalist John D. Solomon, to leukemia 6 years ago. And in your resume, there's a lot of journalism and writing and photography. And I was just wondering if that's a career area you're thinking about.
Definitely is. I'm very interested in public service and government and journalism. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out yet, but I'm definitely looking into ways to pursue that in college.
Our producer, my co-chair on this committee, Will Sanchez, reminded me that your dad was a passionate advocate of emergency preparedness and a fellow volunteer with Will on the CERT team, the East Side's Community Emergency Response Team. Public service seems to be a strong force in your life and in your family.
Absolutely.
A fellowship was set up by the city's emergency response
Yeah.
folks, and it's the first student fellowship with the city devoted specifically to emergency management. It makes it possible for graduate students to work as interns and get paid for it for 9 months in emergency preparedness in various agencies. It's a tribute to your dad, and it's a great fellowship. So if we can get the link and put it up on the screen, anybody's interested?
Yeah,
Check it out. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you very much.